So one of the great things you get to do as president is to acknowledge excellence and to acknowledge some people who are deserving of recognition. And I'm really thrilled to introduce this year's Ruth Bader Ginsburg Memorial Scholarship winner, Kristen Popham. And come on up. So in Kristen's application essay, she describes her immune system as, quote, built a little too strong, end quote, a way of referring to her chronic illness of rheumatoid arthritis. But her autoimmune disease has enabled her to empathize and connect with so many others and has driven her advocacy for the rights of marginalized people. She's a second-year student at Columbia Law School, and she's already made an impact on justice initiatives around the world. In her work with Columbia Law School Human Rights Clinic, Kristen has aided activists from the Central African Republic as they fight for justice and human rights. Last November, Kristen and her team traveled to Geneva to help these activists with a review of human rights records before the United Nations. When they arrived in Switzerland, they met another young LGBTQ plus advocate from the Central African Republic who was unfamiliar with UN procedure and unprepared. No problem. Kristen decided to take on additional work to aid him, and after just 3 days of working together, this activist trusted Kristen's team to deliver his testimony before the United Nations. And that's just one of Kristen's many achievements. She's in the top 2% of her class. She serves as a podcast editor of the Columbia Law Review, and she is the founder and president of the Columbia Disabled Law Students Association. She's also worked with the Civil Rights Division of the Department of Justice, the Fulbright Franco-American Commission, and the Pulitzer Center of Crisis Reporting. Anything else? She graduated from William and Mary in 2020, summa cum laude, with a BA in Government and Francophone Studies. Her recommendation letter from Columbia Law professor Sarah Nucky, is that how you pronounce it? Sarah Nucky described Kristen as an energetic, thoughtful, and kind person, adding that she goes above and beyond constantly and impresses everyone around her with her unwavering commitment and drive. Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg once said, "Whatever you choose to do, leave tracks." That means don't do it just for yourself. You will want to leave the world a little better for your having lived. Kristen is making the world better and is leaving tracks and living up to the legacy of this award's namesake. This award will enable her to continue towards her goals and of becoming a civil rights impact litigator and advancing women's equality and disability justice. So it gives me a great deal of pleasure to present you with the Ruth Bader Scholarship Award, and congratulations and thank you for everything that you do.
Good morning. I want to extend my warmest thanks to the New York State Bar Association, to the selection committee, and to Columbia Law School, which generously nominated me for this recognition. Before coming here today, I tried hard to remember the moment that Ruth Bader Ginsburg became my hero. Was it when I first learned that she was the second female Supreme Court justice? And in a family without lawyers, not to mention female lawyers, I felt I had someone to look up to. Was it when I learned that she, like me, was a little bit stubborn and according to her husband, a terrible cook, and I realized I never had to change. Was it when I realized that she entered institutions and professions that were not built for her, and she paved a space for people like her nonetheless? No, I thought. It was in the course of taking my weekly low-dose chemotherapeutic when I learned that Ruth Bader Ginsburg was undergoing a similar treatment. Just as I was attending class each day, Justice Ginsburg was attending oral arguments before the Supreme Court. Every last one. As a woman with rheumatoid arthritis grappling with an overeager immune system, I'm in a fight I will never win. Although we encountered illness in different phases of our lives, Ruth Bader Ginsburg showed me that a sick woman with a strong willingness to fight has a seat at the table. She taught me that sick women can still rule the world. Justice Ginsburg has paved the path for my presence here today. She prepped the halls of Columbia Law School for my presence 65 years ago. She prepped the legal profession to think more creatively about questions of civil rights, of inclusion, and of justice. Just as she promised, she left the world a little better for her having lived. So I would be remiss not to thank Justice Ginsburg for the tracts that she left. I would also be remiss not to recognize the many women in my life who have showed me what it means to be a strong-willed fighter. To my mother, who taught me radical empathy and kindness and a willingness to be wrong. To my longtime mentor, Carla Coppell, who has embodied the type of global human rights leader that I want to be. To the troop of women law instructors I have in my corner, Professors Sarah Nucky, Elizabeth Emmons, Susan Sturm, Christina Ponza-Kraus, Kelsey Jost Cregan, and more, you have fueled my curiosity and cultivated my desire to shape the law in service of the public good. It is in Justice Ginsburg's tracks and in the tracks of these many extraordinary women in my life that I enter the legal field. The world has changed since Justice Ginsburg's passing, but I think her mission is still relevant for all of us. Like Justice Ginsburg, it should be our hope to leave the world a little better for our having lived. Thank you.